Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this. This is MMA AM. It's half morning show, half MMA show, pretty much all BS. And this is LK here from Kocosports.net, and this is Kocosports.net presenting MMA AM. Thank you if you're watching us on the Kocosports.net website. Thank you if you're watching us straight here on the Kocosports.net YouTube channel, and thank you for being here today on this morning show. And the reason why I call it half morning show is because right now it's 2:21 a.m. So technically it's the morning for me. We're going to cover the TPF 30 show. That's Tachi Palace Fights. They had a show last night, which I'm going to cover on this show today. Also, we're going to talk about the UFC Fight Night 104 weigh-ins. They happened. One person did not make weight, but thankfully the main event did, and I'm looking forward to that. We'll be covering that show sometime next week, maybe a Sunday. Who knows? Don't put your hopes up, but there will be some. I might cover it on the Sunday and then bring guests on throughout the week heading into the next pay-per-view for UFC. So let's get straight down to this for TPF. That's Tachi Palace Fights, their 30th show. Opening match, we have Victor Gallegos versus Holt Felkins. Both men making their debuts in TPF. Felkins is undefeated in amateur with one draw only. So we got a little bit of a boy here in Felkins. So in round one, and I'm watching this on YouTube, and you can watch the full show of TPF 30 on YouTube. If you just type in TPF 30 on YouTube, and it'll be able to come up to you, watch the full thing for free on YouTube. The audio for this first round was really botchy, and it was kind of like, and it's like, dude, if I can stream from here, from my internet, considering I'm technically in my garden right now, and the house is just down there, I'm pretty damn sure these guys can have a good stream. But, I took my headphones out, so I didn't listen to the commentary. So Felkins with a nice takedown on top with some punches and elbows. Gallegos with a headlock takedown. Felkins some good defense. He lands on top of Gallegos, and then with a dirty knee, he gets on top of him, pounds on him until the referee stops this. So the winner is Felkins of the opening fight. Good fight. Felkins this was in bantamweight. Enjoyable fight. First round victory, TKO for Felkins. I did enjoy it. One difference is obviously the size of the crowd. It's a six-sided cage, not an octagon, so I'm guessing we can call this a cage. And again, if you're listening, well, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about. I've only been an MMA fan now for just over a month because I'm now full-time at Kocosports.net. I want to be able to cover what they say, the MMA and pro wrestling. And I do my pro wrestling coverage very well. So it's just becoming a hardcore fan. I'm thinking I need to watch as much as I can, to learn as much as I can, to take it down to this. It's still a professional fighting organization, TPF. It really is a professional fighting company, but it's just not big like the UFC. But one difference is there was no post-fight talks, hypes, promos. There wasn't none of that apart from the co-main event and the main event, but that's a different story for a different time. Then we have Anthony Castro versus Hazel Fargas Aguila. The audio finally sorted itself out. It was like, Jesus wept, finally the audio sorted its fucking self out. Just imagine listening to a show going literally, that's what it was like listening to. I wanted to smash my head on this microphone. Round one, Jesus catches a kick and then takes him to a single leg takedown. He's control of the mat for the majority of the first round until he just applies a rear naked choke. And then Castrogen taps. Jesus, 2 wins, 1 loss, pro. That's not amateur, that's pro. Good win, solid win. This Castrogen isn't a bad fighter by any stretch of the imagination, but it was a good win. He kept it to the mat, played to his strengths, and won. Simple but effective. And then we move on. We have Josh Powell versus Van Palacio. This is in the heavyweight division. This is Powell's first fight since 2014. And this is Palacio. He's returning because he wants to fight to show his kids what it's like to achieve your dream. Like, obviously, he kind of realizes he ain't going to be the UFC heavyweight champ. He's gotten older now, but he wants to prove to his kids, because apparently that's at least what the commentary said anyway. The kids were watching a show of his, a fight of his, on the UFC Fight Pass gimmick, and he was there like, look, I'm going to become this again, and I'm going to prove to you that I can still do it, and you can achieve your dream. So good little story there for both of these fighters. But Palacio, 265 pounds. He's got a big gut. If you watch pro wrestling and you're watching the show, which I'm expecting you do, because it's a channel that features both pro wrestling and MMA. Maybe you're just an MMA fan, you're like new to the channel. Welcome. Secondly, type into Google if you don't know Chris Hero. He's a pro wrestler. He has a gut very similar to Palacio's. Nothing happened in round one. Powell got a nice punch in, so bloodying up Palacio. I would give the round 10-9 to Powell. Round two, Palacio got his eye poked out. Very interesting there. So the match got stopped. Then the whole fight got stopped. Okay, the doctor checked on him, and his eye was pretty swollen. He's like, pretty damn swollen eye. The match becomes a draw. Post-match, Palacio, he does cut a promo. He says, let's do this again sometime in May. So I know there's the TPF 31 that's taking place in May. So I wouldn't mind seeing that. And it was nothing happened, but it was still enjoyable. It was one of those fights. It was kind of like they're both, jib jabbing. And it was like, okay, you're waiting for it to pick up. And I'm thinking if that got, another round, I think that could have been a trailblazer. I really, really do. And the funny thing is Powell going for the gut. And I'm thinking there was no need to hit that gut. You're not going to touch that liver. There's really no need. But I enjoyed it for what it was worth. There was nothing bad about it. It was really enjoyable. And then we move on to Alex Perez versus Andrew Natividad. This is in the flyweight division. Perez pro record is 14-4. Natividad is 7-7. Opening round, a punch knockdown from Perez. He's really aggressive this whole fight. This guy is one to watch, ladies and gentlemen. He has a second neck down by right hand. He then applies the Bravo choke, and Natividad taps. Really, he brought it. Really aggressive, just straight up there. This guy's only 24. If he keeps on winning and winning, maybe a UFC spot or a fight against the champion in TPF in the flyweight division is Adam Antonin. So maybe we could get a potential fight of Antonin and Perez, because this guy came out there guns blazing. He went in there, he knew what he wanted to do. Punch, knockdown, punch, knockdown, and just got the victory. Really good fight. Really enjoyed it. Then we had Nick Bustamante versus Salvador Pesera. Bustamante with a major age advantage of 32 years old to the 21 years of Pesera. Sometimes that could be a benefit. Sometimes it could be a disadvantage. Obviously, the 21-year-old with more to prove and also younger and healthier, whereas you got the more beat-up 32-year-old, but that's experience and knowledge. The record for Bustamante, considering he's 32, is only 7-2, whereas Becerra's 4-2. Round one starts off with us. Bustamante, ladies and gentlemen, had some really nice kicks. Like majority of the first round is just him kicking, and you can just see the power, and you can just hear them every time they connect. And he doesn't just do them to one, like the inside leg or the mid rib section. He does it all over the body, including the head. Becerra is the exact same, but he does punching. So he's doing punching, he's doing jabs, he's doing uppercuts, and he keeps using combinations. And I think that when I judge a fight anyway, if there's some combinations in there, added little points. Like it really, really comes across the TV or the laptop anyway, really strong. Becerra punch knocks Buster down until those brutal elbows until the buzzer goes off. And I tell you what, we talked about this on the Wednesday edition of MMA AM about how on UFC on Fox 23, how the fight should have been stopped because it just became savagery. And I think that this should have been stopped because I gave the round 10-9 to Becerra, but round two began Becerra just punch. Buster is just doing nothing, trying to get a takedown, but hardly standing. The referee, I'm literally written my notes in, needs to stop this now. Down to the floor it goes. Becerra just continuing the assault. The doctor stops the fight, not the camp, not the referee, the doctor. Unreal. He just stops it. The doctor stops the fight. You could see his eyes, watching, but Bustamante complains. I was shocked. He was complaining to the doctor, complaining to the referee. Look, guys, blood pouring down his face. That you saying, like, guys, why did you stop that fight? That he had to be stopped. That needed to be stopped. Obviously, heat the moment. Why'd you do it? But looking back, and if he looked at the footage back again, he would understand why the match got stopped because it was brutal. It was nasty. It was just not nice. He was pissing blood. It was everywhere, and it was a really good fight. I really thoroughly enjoyed it. Really good fight. I'm going to get to a little bit of live comments. Going to mix us up before we get to our next fight with Quinn, Onus and Williams. Rick 1982 says, "Hey, okay, I'm watching Lion Fight 34 on Access TV." Dude, I can't get that. I wish I could, but I can't, sadly. And then it says UFC tomorrow should be a fun event. Definitely, I'm going to be watching the UFC event tomorrow. Again, Saturday is my day off. Every week, without fail, I have Saturday off. So Saturday night, I might check out the UFC fight card because I know it's the Fight Night 104. And then on Sunday on MMA AM, I might break it down. And then all of next week, might have a different co-host to break it down every day. I think that could be very interesting because I know on Sunday, when I come home from work, I've got to straight watch the New Japan Pro Wrestling event. So it's very different. I've got a difficult Sunday and Saturday because I've got to watch that New Japan event before we go live with SOS Wrestle Talk. But that's a different story for a different time. But I'm glad Rick1982, he's the one who recommended me for watching this, and I appreciate him for that shout because I really enjoy it. And then Sergio Quinones versus Castle Williams in the featherweight division. I'm going to call him Quinn, but Quinones is not a tough name. It's just I'm an imbecile. So Quinn is 10-18 and Williams is 3-1. So round one, in the first 15 seconds, just Quinn applies a guillotine. Castle counters that into a guillotine of his own. They continue back and forth, just applying and grappling on the mat until Quinn applies a Bravo choke to get the win. Really enjoyable mat work here. Really good fundamental mat work. It was good. It was grappling done properly. You know, it wasn't boring and dull to watch in the mat because obviously the crowd, it was a smaller crowd. It's not going to be a UFC fucking stadium sellout, is it? But I just enjoyed the mat work a lot, and both fighters did themselves justice there. I really did enjoy it. Then we have Cassie Kenny versus Alvin Kokdak for the flyweight championship. The championship is vacant. Kenny has a record. Casey Kenny has 5 wins, 0 professional losses. And then Kakta had 17 wins and 12 losses. And the commentary did a good job of, again, it was kind of like wrestling kind of having to protect Kakdak. You know, talking about how, you know, just because his record says he's lost 12 fights doesn't mean he's a crap fighter. He is a good fighter. It's just he has bad luck sometimes. Round one. Kenny with an accident, low blow. Obviously, the slow motion shot of it was horrible. It was a complete accident, but because it's orthodox versus unorthodox, which is left or right, you could just feel the pain when he just pelts him on the cock. Really nasty. Kukdak with some good combination punches until Kenny applies a deep rear naked choke to get the win. Kenny had a brutal cut above his eye. It didn't stop him. He won the fight. Which was strange, you know, because it was going in a way how it's like punch, 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 kick, kick, kick. I'm like, okay, we're going to get a knockout here. We're going to get a technical knockout. Which just, again, it just proves that anything can happen in mixed martial arts. And I like that. I like the mixture, the variety. It's like in wrestling. You know, you can have the high flying, you can have the power. Well, here you can have, you know, some mat work, and then you can move on to a fight where you're expecting, you know, some good punching and kicking. And then it just went down to the mat, which surprised me. But it was a good fight, and I enjoyed it. And then we go to our main event. We have Danny Navarro versus Cain Carrizosa in the lightweight division. This is a non-title match because Carrizosa did not make the weight. He could not make the weight. And if that happened in UFC, they would get a 20% fine of the purse. And I'm wondering if he got a fine or anything. But anyway, Navarro is 17-6. He's the TPF lightweight champion. Carrizosa is 10-3. So both men with a good record. And Navarro came out to Iron Man, which made me happy. Round one, I give to Carrizosa 10-9. You know, he controlled the majority of it. Good offense towards the end of the round. Round two was a bit more different. Round two, Carrizosa with some 2 takedowns, but Navarro had a really good end of round with some punches and a takedown of his own. It was a really tough call. I'm going to give it 10-9 to Navarro. Round three, Carrizosa with some good combinations until Navarro comes back with a clinch into the cage. Carrizosa then counters with a guillotine and a body scissors with punches. In that round, 10-9, I gave it to Carrizosa. I enjoyed it. The official judge scored this at 29-28 to Carrizosa. Let me see if I got that. Yep, that's exactly what I got too. Yeah, I got that too. I got 29-28. Glad that I got it. It was quite... The only round I thought that was tough was the second round, but I thought I'll go with him because of the end of the round, of how in control Navarro was. But post-match, says he's trying to get back into UFC, and a win over the champ is a good step. He then says he's working on getting back into UFC and shout outs Dana White. So I enjoyed this show. I recommend all mixed martial arts fans to check this out. I really did enjoy the show. There was nothing bad about the show. There was nothing, boring about the show, apart from the quality of the audio in the first fight. But the second fight, that stopped. I did enjoy it. It was a very enjoyable fight. And I'm going to watch it again. There's another show in May that's going to come up from TPF. I did enjoy it. And there's some contenders on there that could make the jump to UFC. You know, the champion who won the belt. Let me get the names back up. I apologize, and me shutting the book was a bit of an imbecilic move. Let me get my list back out of fighters, because you know I can't memorize them yet. So just let me get the fighters. Fucking, why do I watch so much fucking pro wrestling and MMA? Where are we? We were here. I reckon Cassie Kenny, you know, he's the new champion now in the flyweight division. And then we're talking post-match about, and I didn't note that down, silly me, bad boy, about how, you know, that championship means, you know, you could get a spot on one of these UFC cards. And I'm guessing that's the goal for each of these fighters. You know, there was 8 fights, very enjoyable fights. There was not a fight that bored me. You know, the main event, even though it went to time, the full distance, the full 3 rounds, I would have loved if that was a championship fight. If Carasosa made the weight, I think that would have been a great fight if it went 5 rounds. But I think Carasosa talking about UFC, maybe he could get an opportunity sometime down the line, and I think that'd be awesome. I really, really do think that'd be awesome seeing him in UFC, because this is what I like watching about these fights. Now, I'm watching TPF though. When he moves up to UFC, I will know a lot about him because I've watched him in the minors. Well, I do mean the minors is a pro fight company. Like, it's not an amateur MMA company. It is a pro fight company. I'm going to get some live comments again if we've got any. We've got some. World Series of Fighting has an event coming up on March 18th. National Pro Wrestling Day is tomorrow, live on Shakara's Facebook. Would you ever check out BAMA? I know BAMA is a promotion in the UK. I know they did have a Channel 5 TV deal, but I know that I watched 5OD on 5 on demand at night. I like to either watch wrestling or MMA, but it just nods me off to sleep. The commentary I can picture in my brain, and then it makes me stop thinking about everything else that goes on in life, whether it being work, family, girlfriend, friends, etc. So I'm on 5OD, and I don't see BAMA on there anymore. There's Bellator on there now, because there was the Bellator 170. They haven't uploaded 171 yet. They're really far behind, and it's really frustrating. They've only just uploaded Tito Ortiz versus Charles Sonnen on there. But I'm going to check out as much, and I'd appreciate if you sent me the links to them when you get them, because I can't watch the American TV ones. I'm going to watch the UFC card tomorrow because it's a Pirate's Life for me. But I would check out BAMA if I got access to it. And thank you for watching live. And then let's talk about some UFC. Let's see what we got here. Let me just check up. Maybe just get the article up. Silly me, should have had it already up. I'm a professional bastard. Anyway, Fight Night is coming. It is Saturday. Well, technically today it is today. Technically today is Saturday, but for Americans it's the 3rd. So the weigh-in took place today for the Fight Night 104 event. And thankfully, both Dennis Burmudez and Chan Sung Jung, the Korean zombie, made the weight. There was only one person who did not, and that was Beck Rawlings. Rawlings, what a fucking imbecilic Nimrod. Beck Rawlings didn't make the cut, sorry. And the thing that was really annoying here was she was 117.5, so she was literally like 1.5 pounds off being the official weight. Unbelievable. Oh, poor bastard. Or Vincent Pierre made the cut with 205. What else did we get? We had Felice Herrig. And I'm looking forward to that fight. My potential fight of the night, minus the main event, Alexa Grasso versus Felice Herrig. I really think could be match of the night. You got the story of Herrig, you know, being the veteran, you know, and saying, "Look, Grasso, you're a great fighter. You're ranked 12 in the world in the UFC rankings. You may be the next big thing, but if you want to be the next big thing, prove it and go through me." I love that. I'm looking forward to that, and I'm rooting for Grasso. You need to take out the old dog. She's not old, but, you know, take out Herrig and move up those rankings and potentially get a title fight. I think that's going to be one to look out for. James Vick as well and Abel Trujillo. I think that's a great looking card, and I'm looking forward to it. And obviously you got the return of the Korean zombie in Chan Sung Jung. Both made 145.5, so both made the limit. And it's funny because you had the women Beck Rawling who made 117.5, and Tekatorati did 115.5, and she lost by like one pound. When in another fight with Adam Milstead, he was 233.5 pounds, and Curtis Bladez was 264.5 pounds. You know, there's an insane difference in there, but it doesn't matter there, but it matters in this woman's fight. And, you know, 20% of her purse, because she didn't make the weight, that is a lot of money. You know, I obviously don't know what these fighters are earning, but that's still a lot of money for not losing one more pound. You know, that'll teach her for eating that extra Big Mac, wouldn't it? Jesus Christ, she would never do that. Oh, geez, what's this? Apparently on the Daily Star, as some brain fluid leaks from MMA's fighter head after a sickening knockout. So check that out, guys. That's from the Daily Star. Again, if you can find the official weigh-in results, you can head over to Kocosports.net. I've got the full list of official weigh-in results. Let me see what we got here. Let's see if there's any more news going around the world of mixed martial arts. The next show will be a pro wrestling one. We're going to do Wrestle AM. Says she doesn't think she broke Rousey, but made her second guess herself. Former champion Andriy Koreshov will be returning at Bellator 174. Ricardo Abreu retires after failing his second USADA drug test. He'll be ending his MMA career because he would have had to serve a 2-year suspension anyway. What else we got here? WSOF vacates Marlon Moraes' title. Books the championship on the triple header. What else we got here? Oh, here we go. Rawlings explains why she missed the weight at UFC Fight Night 104. Let me have a quick look. Why Rawlings went on social media to explain why she was 1.5 pounds over the 115-pound straw weight limit. So Beck Rawlings says this: earlier this year, I was finally diagnosed with secondary hypothyroidism. Let me say that again. Hypothyroidism. After struggling with my weight and energy for so long, and to add that, my hormones, cortisol, and everything that fires this beast of a body has taken a hit from these nasty weight cuts to 115. Today, I pushed my body to the absolute limits to try and hit 116, and my body failed me. I know people don't exactly know what cutting weight entails and are quick to judge and talk shit, but I know I did everything in my power to make weight today. I've been calling for 125 for this reason. Women's bodies are not designed to cut extreme amounts of weight, and I'm not the only UFC woman fighter with these issues. We need more divisions. I'm still fighting. TC and her team ATT were very understanding and knew I couldn't cut anymore and just wanted a good fight tomorrow night, which we will give. Can't wait to fight and put on the show for the Houston fans and everybody tuning in to see me fight. And I'm actually looking forward to that. Yeah, she's a nasty. Well, she's not nasty. She looks like a scary motherfucker. I reckon she could kick some ass. But at least now we know why. And I think that the women deserve more divisions. You know, they're having 3 now. That's a good step because then at least now she wouldn't have to worry about the weight. Maybe she can move up a weight division. You know, because that's a big cut. 115 pounds is a low weight. You know, and why should these women have to want to put on muscle to fight, but then can't because they have to worry about cutting weight? I would hate that. I'd really hate that. I'm going to get some live comments before I end this bad boy and then get rocking and rolling with my Wrestle AM show. Because every day you get 2 shows. You get an MMA show and you get a Wrestle AM show. Rick1982 says there's a few MMA promotions that stream their events live on YouTube, like Super Fight League, which is an MMA company in India. It looks like Ryan Bader's heading to Bellator. Yeah, I mean, the Indian company, as long as there's English commentary, I'm fine. And as long as there's graphics, so I can kind of know what I'm going, because I don't really know these fighters. But thank you, Rick1982, for sticking around with me on this live show. I will get better at covering the MMA world. You just got to give me a bit of time to become a real hardcore fan. It'll get there. It won't take long. Just give me a month or 2. But I'm going to continue to do these shows. Next show will be Sunday. And if you want more content, if you want even more content, I literally just finished recording a Monday Night Wars episode, and it's pro wrestling, but I just finished recording a Monday Night Wars episode covering Monday Night Raw and Nitro from January the 19th, 1998. That's at my Patreon page. If you wanna help me, sorry, that's the wrong way of putting it. If you want to support me and really support me and get exclusive content, check out my Patreon page, links in the description. You can get exclusive content for as little as $1 per month. If you just want the exclusive content, you don't want the merch, you don't want to be on the show, you don't want to get a piece of merchandise, like I said already, you don't want to request a show. For $5 per month, every single month you get an exclusive show just for you. Exclusive. Like EC Cuff wants me to talk about the show where Vince Russo won the World Championship Wrestling Heavyweight title. Nice of him to make me sit through that. He wants me to earn that $5 per month. And then also you have Sho, who's making me do a show from Japanese wrestling from 1988. So lots to look forward to on the Patreon. Also, this right here on Kocosports.net is your home for combat sports and where it's okay to be a passionate fan. Lots going on today. Lots going on Sunday as well, because we're going to cover UFC on Fox 23. And the Sunday on Wrestle AM, we're also going to talk about New Japan Pro Wrestling's new beginning. Lots of pro wrestling and lots of MMA for me to cover as always. I'll be back next with Wrestle AM. Stay safe, ladies and gentlemen. Stay well. And I'll be catching your asses down the line.